Coming up, I will discuss what you can learn from successful writers and how this advice can help you become a better writer. Let's get started. If you're new here, my name is Matthew Royce. I am a knowledge enthusiast. What separates great writers from good writers? They learn from other writers in the past and present to hone their craft. To become the best, you need to learn from the best. Words from successful authors can give valuable advice and insights into the creative writing process. If you follow these 10 writing time-tested tips, you'll become a stronger writer. Let's dive in. Number 1, William Faulkner. William Faulkner was an American writer and a Nobel Prize laureate from Oxford, Mississippi. He wrote novels, short stories, screenplays, poetry, and essays. He famously said, "You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore." The only way to grow as a writer is to embrace the uncomfortable. You have to have the courage enough to move beyond your comfort zone. To reach your goals, you must work hard to move beyond your status quo and push yourself to become a better writer. What's the writing tip? Try something new today that challenges you. Number 2, Stephen King. Stephen King is an American award-winning author who has sold millions of books. His books about horror, supernatural fiction, suspense, crime, and science fiction have been adapted into films and TV shows. He famously said, "I am always chilled and astonished by the would-be writers who ask me for advice and admit quite pithily that they don't have time to read." This is like a guy starting up Mount Everest saying that he didn't have time to buy any rope or pitons. Just like William Faulkner, it's essential to make time to read. Reading will help you write. So what's the writing tip? Keep it simple, read a lot. Number 3, Jack Hart. Jack Hart is an American author, writing coach, and former managing editor at the Oregonian. He famously said, "Any word that doesn't advance a story slows it down." There are so many words that can make your sentences more complex than they need to be. Keep your copy brief. Hunt for words to cut out. Do they help you move the story forward? Avoid empty or unnecessary words like really, very, absolutely, currently, actually, and literally. So what's the writing tip? Don't clog your sentences. Trim the fat. Number 4, George Orwell. Eric Arthur Blair, better known as his pen name George Orwell, was an English writer. He is famous for his novels 1984 and Animal Farm. He famously said, "Good writing is like a window pane." A window pane is a piece of transparent glass in the window of a building. Therefore, good writing is transparent. In other words, write only words that you want your readers to see. Have your words jump off the page and into your reader's mind so they can interrupt or visualize the story. So what's the writing tip? Good writing allows your readers to see your story clearly in their minds. Number 5, Zadie Smith. Zadie Smith is an English novelist and short story writer. She is a best-selling and award-winning author. She became a tenured professor of fiction at New York University in 2010. She famously said, "The past is always tense, the future perfect." Zadie starts daily by reading and revising what she has written so far. She loves working in a small room with natural light. She likes to read a lot, especially writers who have different styles than her own. This helps her fill in gaps in her writing. So what's the writing tip? Read what you have written the day before. Number 6, John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck is a Pulitzer Prize winner known for his novels The Grapes of Wrath and Of Mice and Men, which defined the American Great Depression. He famously said, "To be alive at all is to have scars." You may have a scar, but it also means you have a story. Stories come from mistakes and challenging times. Sometimes those scars tell tales of life-threatening catastrophes, but other times they are detours on the roadway of life. Embrace your scars and share those stories with your readers. So what's the writing tip? Our scars tell our stories. Number 7, Jodi Picoult. Jodi Picoult is an American writer and New York Times bestseller who has sold millions of copies of her novels. She famously said, "If you have a limited amount of time to write, you just sit down and do it. You may not write well daily, but you can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page." It is important to write even if it doesn't flow, make sense, or clear. Don't get discouraged by a blank canvas. Just start writing. It is tough to edit a blank screen with no text. Type what you are thinking. You can always go back and edit it. You have to start somewhere. So what's the writing tip? Just do it. Start writing. Number 8, Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was an American journalist, novelist, and short story writer. He was a Nobel Prize winner and one of the greatest novelists of all time. He is known for A Farewell to Arms and The Old Man and the Sea. He famously said, "There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed." The goal of every writer should be to reach a flow state or get in the zone. It's essential to sit down at your computer and write. Write, write, write. Let your thoughts flow and worry about editing later. What's the writing tip? Find your flow state. Let your thoughts flow, edit later. Number 9, Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and short story writer. He is recognized as one of the greatest writers of the modern short story. He famously said, "Let us learn to appreciate there will be times when the trees will be bare, but look forward to the time we may pick the fruit. Be thankful for the bad times and be optimistic about them. The good times are right around the corner. Difficulties show us what's really important in life." So what's the writing tip? Tough times can change our perspective. You may get into a writer's funk. That's okay. You can get out of a writer's funk if you think positively. Number 10, Maya Angelou. She published autobiographies, essays, and poetry. She is known for her memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. She famously said, "You have to get to a very quiet place inside yourself. And that doesn't mean that you can't have noise outside. I know some people who put jazz on loudly to write. I think each writer has his or her secret path to the muse." Maya has said that she has a hotel room in her town where she works and doesn't allow anybody to come to that room. She didn't sleep there, she just wrote there. She believes each writer has to find his or her place to write. She has said she knew a writer who stood up 6 hours with a typewriter on the podium, and another writer who wrote on a computer in a closet with their back to the door, facing the wall. So what's the writing tip? Find your inner quiet place where you can write. It doesn't have to be quiet externally, but it needs to be internally. Okay, let's bring it all together. First, if you like what you saw here, please hit the subscribe button below. You can learn from great writers by studying how they work on their craft. You can learn a lot about writing from other writers. They don't have to be famous. Hopefully, these writing tips from successful authors will inspire you to become a greater writer. Thank you for watching. Until next time.